Hello, students. So, we have covered the first part of our chapter number 3 of civics, that is constitutional design, which was related to the various efforts made for the formation of constitution for South African people. In that particular chapter, we had seen the struggle of the black people in South Africa, all their efforts against the white government to abolish the policy of apartheid, and under the leadership of Nelson Mandela, both the community leaders, the whites and the blacks, they sat together and finally they were able to draft the constitution for South Africa, which was giving the equal treatment to both the communities. Now we are going to cover the second part of this chapter, that is the making of the Constitution of India, the journey of the constitution making of India, which was started in 1946 and ended by the end of 1949. We are also going to understand the circumstances and backdrop when the Constitution of India was framed, and the Constitution Assembly and its members, how they were elected and how they shouldered the responsibility of drafting the Constitution for our nation. At the same time, we will also see the inspiration they got from various sources for framing the Constitution, and in the end we are covering the last part of the topic: why should we accept the Constitution which was framed 70 years back, whether it is outdated now or whether the Constitution of India is still relevant for all of us. So the end of the Second World War clearly marks the decline of the European powers like Britain, France, Germany, Italy, and particularly for Britain, the Second World War brought disaster. It completely ruined the economy of Britain, and now it was not in the position to control those colonies which it had captured in the 17th, 18th, and 19th century, just like India. Moreover, the movement was also started in these colonies, and they were at their peak. That's why the British government decided to set them free one after the another, and the new government in Britain under the leadership of Clement Attlee decided to set India free, and for that purpose they decided to send a mission to India in 1946, which was known as Cabinet Mission, and this mission wanted to see how and when they can set India free with the passage of time. So after the Cabinet Mission, the elections of Constituent Assembly were conducted, and this newly elected Constituent Assembly started its work of making of Constitution for India. While framing the Constitution, the various kinds of problems and challenges were there before the Constituent Assembly, and these were as follow. The first challenge was that India was a huge and diverse country, and making Constitution in a way which could satisfy all the diversity of this country was the Herculean task for this Constituent Assembly people. Then the second one was, already in 1947 we had witnessed the partition of our country, and Pakistan was created on the basis of religion. Now making constitution in a way which could satisfy all the communities living in India was the challenge which the Constituent Assembly had to face. The third challenge was the challenge of princely states. We all know that when India got freedom, already 565 princely states were there in India. They had been given the choice: either they could be the part of India, or they could be the part of Pakistan, or they could also set up their free country. So in this particular picture you can see that the yellowish areas, they came directly under the control of British Empire, while these pinkish areas were the princely states where the local rulers were ruling. And persuading these local rulers to join India was the third task. It means they had to make the constitution in a way which could satisfy all these rulers, and they should give their consent to join India. The last challenge was related to the uncertain future of India, which was predicted by many people and the countries like Britain, that India would be sooner or later disintegrated into many nations. So making constitution for the safety, prosperity and unity of the country was the another challenge which had to be faced by the Constituent Assembly. So after covering the problems related to the Constituent Assembly for the formation of Constitution, we are moving to the next topic, that is the path to the Constitution. In this topic, we are going to see how this idea of drafting a Constitution for a free India in future had come. The first step in this direction was the Nehru Report, which was presented by Motilal Nehru and 8 other Congress leaders, that in future when they would get freedom, what would be the Constitution of India look like. Then the next step is 1931 Karachi session held in December 1931, in which all these ideas were accepted. This idea of making a constituent assembly was presented by first time Mr. M.N. Roy, a Communist Party leader in 1934, and then the Congress Party first time officially raised the demand of constituent assembly for India, which was finally accepted by the British Parliament in 1940, which was known as August Offer, and under this acceptance in 1946 cabinet mission was sent to India. Moreover, with the passage of the time of struggle of Indian educated people, they came to know about the parliamentary system, legislative institution and their functioning. And this years of thinking and deliberation on the framework of the Constitution of India also helped the people of India to draft a constitution. Our constitution makers also took the inspiration from the various sources, and some of them were coming from outside, like the 3 basic ideas of French Revolution, that is liberty, equality and fraternity, were taken in the preamble of our constitution. Similarly, the idea of socialism was also included in the preamble of our country, and it was taken from the Russian Revolution. The practice of parliamentary democracy of Britain, as we had already got the training and experience working under the British rule, that's why we adopted the parliamentary democratic system for our nation. And finally, the Bill of Rights in United States of America were taken as the fundamental rights for the citizen of our country. So the elections to the Constituent Assembly was conducted in July 1946, and the first meeting of this Constituent Assembly was held on 9th of December 1946. So when the Constituent Assembly was working, unfortunately the partition of India took place and Pakistan was created, due to which the members which were representing the part of Pakistan moved to Pakistan, and only 299 members were remaining members were there who drafted the Constitution of India. So this Constituent Assembly included various great leaders of our country who participated in the freedom struggle of our nation. Some of the names you can find it out from this image, where Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru is sitting and Sardar Patel is sitting, and then Baldev Singh is sitting here in this image, and like the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Dr. Rajendra Prasad was there. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected on 11th of December as the president of this Constituent Assembly, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had been given the responsibility to draft the constitution, as he was the chairperson of the drafting committee. So in this way, we can find out the selection or election of this Constituent Assembly. Here some dates have been given to us. 9th of December 1946, first president was Dr. Sachidanand, which was a ceremonial president, and then the real president election was held on 11th of December. Here we also can find the various committees which were made under the Constituent Assembly. These committees had to draft the different provisions of our constitution. So then we are moving to the next part, that is related to the Constitution of India, which was finally enacted on 26th of January 1950. 50, 395 articles, 12 schedules and 22 parts were there when this constitution was enacted. Now, one interesting question comes in our mind that the Constituent Assembly started its functioning on 9th of December 1946 and finally it completed its task on 26th of November 1949 when the Constitution of India was adopted. Then why we waited for the next 2 months for the enactment of the constitution, that was 26th of January 1950? Why we waited for the next 2 months? So the answer lies in the history when in the Lahore session of December 1929, Congress first time on the bank of river Ravi declared that now its agenda or its purpose is the complete freedom of this country, and they are not going to compromise with the Swaraj concept. Now they want Poorn Swaraj or complete freedom. So on that day in Lahore session, this demand was raised officially by the Congress, and first Independence Day, which is a symbolic Independence Day, that had been celebrated on 26th of January 1930 as decided in the Lahore session. So Nehru remembered that important day, and that's why he wanted to enact the constitution on that very special day when the freedom of India, symbolic freedom of India, was celebrated. That's why we have chosen this particular day, the day of our Republic celebration. Now we have reached to the last part of our topic, that is, why should we accept the constitution which was made in 1950? Whether our constitution has become outdated with the passage of time, or is it still relevant even today? So the first point in the support of our constitution we can put forward that even after 70 years since it has been made, no political party or the large social groups people have ever raised any question about the basic idea or the principle of our constitution. We have many examples of the different countries in the world where constitution have had to rewrite because the basic ideas were not accepted by the major groups living there. We have also the examples of many countries where the constitution exists merely as a piece of paper and nobody bother the constitution. Then we can cover the second and third point, which supports the relevance of our constitution and tells us that the Constituent Assembly represented the people of India from every geographical area of our country. This Constituent Assembly gave the representation to the different groups based on language, based on caste or class or region or religion and occupations. Now the last argument in support of accepting the constitution lies in the functioning of Constituent Assembly. So this Constituent Assembly worked in a very systematic, open and consensual manner. All its meetings were systematically organized. Open debates were conducted where the members could put forward their views freely about any provision of the constitution. The Constituent Assembly also tried to build consensus among its members over the various provisions of the constitution. More than 2000 amendments were considered during the debates of Constituent Assembly, and the members deliberated and debated for 114 days, which were spread over the 3 years. Every document and word spoken in the Constituent Assembly has been recorded and preserved, which is called the Constituent Assembly debates, and these debates can be found in 12 bulky volumes. So now I hope you have understood all the important topics and points related to this chapter. I hope you have enjoyed it, and thanks for watching this video.